Hello and welcome to today's thought from the Bible. My husband Dave and I are missionaries with Mission Aviation Fellowship, currently living in Kampala in Uganda. But Dave has actually been in Nairobi in Kenya for the last week or so, leaving me here home alone. I know, sad. Before the days of COVID, Dave used to travel quite a bit actually to MAF's different programs in Africa and in other places in the world, helping out with his engineering expertise. But recently travel has, it's become a little bit more complicated, I think it's fair to say. And what with lockdowns and things being cancelled, we have seen a lot more of each other than normal in the last 12 months, I think it's fair to say. And it got me thinking, it's really, really easy to take something for granted when you have access to it all of the time. You know, our water supply typically was disconnected on day one of Dave leaving to Kenya, and my default reaction would have been, "Oh, Dave, could you just climb up the water tower that's behind our house just to see what reserves we have left until the water comes back on?" But of course, Dave wasn't there, so suddenly I had to manage by myself. I didn't climb the tower, but I did manage until the water came back on a couple of days later. I'd taken his climbing skills, plus, probably a few other things like his lovely company, for granted. My Bible reading plan took me into the book of Leviticus this last week, which is always a little bit of a challenging read. Chapter 9 of that book, it details the time when the priests of the nation of Israel, Aaron and his sons, when they first began their priestly duties. But before they could get started, there was a load of stuff that needed doing. There was a lot of preparation to get on with. They had to have the right outfits. They had to have the right incense to burn. They had to have the right equipment. Everything was very particular. They had to have a whole host of sacrifices that needed to be presented, sin offerings and fellowship offerings and more. It was all in preparation for what Moses said was going to happen. And this is what he said in Leviticus chapter 9, verse 4. "Take all your offerings," he said, "to sacrifice before the Lord, together with a grain offering mixed with olive oil. For today the Lord will appear to you." There must have been some excitement, I think, around the camp hearing those words. Today, this very day, the Lord himself is going to appear to us. Wow, right, we need to get ready for this. This is a momentous occasion. I wonder what you would do if you woke up tomorrow morning and had checked your phone, and there was a text message from a new number from God saying, Jesus is going to be popping in later today in person. He's just going to come to your house for a meal. Hope that's all right. Thankfully, we wouldn't need to track down a load of animals to offer as a sacrifice for our wrongdoing because Jesus paid that price for us. But I expect that there are some other things that we might do, right? The thought of seeing Jesus in person, of welcoming him bodily into our home, it might inspire us to a day of worship. Wow, this is amazing. This is so exciting. I'm going to meet God in person. You are awesome, God. Thank you for this. It might challenge us to check what's happening in our hearts, to make sure that we're not holding on to anything that's unhelpful, that's hindering our relationship with God. It might drive us to seek forgiveness for that little sin that keeps on creeping up in our lives. It might prompt us to forgive someone else. At the very least, we might want to clean up the house a little bit, maybe invite a few doubting friends along to meet Jesus in person. Whatever our reaction would be, whatever our response would be, whatever it would prompt us to do, it would be a big occasion, right? It would be something special. It would be something that we wanted to make the absolute most of. we would want to be ready for this one-off situation. But it's easy to forget, of course, that we don't need one big day of seeing the Lord appear to us as the Israelites did, because we have access to God each and every single day of our lives. He is always with us. And I wonder if we sometimes take him a little bit for granted because of that. We think, well, yeah, I know that part of my life needs sorting out, but you know, I don't need to do it right now. I'm going to do it tomorrow. That's fine. I'm just going to put that off till tomorrow. I don't really need to start my day off with worship today. You know, I've got a really busy day. Have you seen the length of my to-do list? I can do that on Sunday. That'll be fine. I'll just put it off to Sunday when I'm at church, or, you know, when I'm watching church online. I can put that off for now. We are so ridiculously privileged as believers today because Emmanuel has come. God is with us in each and every single day of our lives. And that should prompt us to want to live worshipful and righteous lives in each and every single day of our lives. Because what an amazing wonder it is that we don't have to wait for this one big day for God to appear to us. We don't have to think that this might be the only time that we get to see and experience God, because he already has appeared to us. He already is with us. He is with you right now, right at this moment, wherever it is that you are watching this video. He's with you at this very moment. And yet it is all too easy to take that for granted. Because, you know, I've heard it said before in many times that the Holy Spirit is like a gentleman, right? He's not going to force you to listen to him. He's not going to force you to respond to him in any particular way. But he is right there waiting for us to turn and say, okay, what do you want to say to me today, God? I want to spend some time in your presence today, God. He is with us always. We get to enjoy a real relationship with God every single day. And it's not just about ticking off a list of things to do that we need to do in order to be able to interact with him. That is not what we need to do. Rather, knowing that he is with us, knowing that he is for us, that knowledge makes us want to change the way that we live in each and every day, because he is with us. He is with us always. You don't need to wait for that invitation. You don't need to wait for that day. God is with you. Let that thought, let that knowledge of relationship with him be something that stirs you to change. I think it is just incredible. It is just such a privilege, as I said, that we get to do life with God. You know, I saw one of those memes on Facebook the other day, like, you know, when you think about asking Moses what it was like to part the Red Sea, or some other Bible character who did some amazing thing, think they're going to ask you, what was it like to have lived with the Holy Spirit inside you? Wow. Take advantage of that. Appreciate that. God is with you today. Thank you so much for joining me for this thought from the Bible. I'll be back on Friday with another video, so I will see you then.